Welcome to today's episode of What the Hell Is He Doing Now? I got a lawnmower. It's in need of servicing. Needs an oil change, spark plugs, air filter, fuel filter, and new blades. So I'm going to do it. You're coming with me. Let's rock. The first thing that you want to do if you're going to do an oil change is you want to just run the engine for a little bit till it gets warm. Gather up any debris that's maybe in there, warm up the oil, make it drain a little faster, as well as just make sure you get as much of it out as you can, and any, like I said, any particulates or maybe even little metal shavings that are in there. And always a good plan is to turn the key the wrong way to engage the starter while it's running. Jokes, don't do that. There's bugs here and it's hot. John Deere with a Briggs & Stratton engine in it. They make this pretty easy to do. In terms of like the maintenance and stuff yourself, there's some tools that you're gonna have, but at the end of the day, it's not hard to do. You need like a ratchet, some sockets, some bottles. I have 100 ounces of bottle capacity here for what I hope is 64 ounces or so of oil in the machine. Enough talking. Somebody's like, you're gonna change the oil, you're gonna talk all day. Here goes. I don't know what you guys can see here. Lighting is a little shitty out here today. Something about some Canadian wildfire or something. So anyway, make sure my bottle is like ready to rock and roll here. I have this thing underneath me so I don't spill a bunch of oil all over the place. But okay, there it goes. Good job, asshole. Wow, see what I mean, guys? That's why we put the cover on the ground. I'm sure there's some kind of pros out there that can do an oil change without getting covered in the shit. I'm not one of them. Awesome. I can't turn the camera off because my hands are totally covered in oil. So you guys just gonna hang out while we do this. That's fine. That's fine. 4K, 30 frames per second, watching a guy change oil. Maybe I'll do something like time lapse this part, or I don't know. Maybe you can just sit here and suffer with me because this is dumb. I hate this. All right, now it's just dripping. All right. Now you could say, you know, why don't you wear gloves when you do that? Well, because now my gloves would be completely soaked in oil. I barely started the project yet. Now look at the color of that, huh? That's the kind of shit you want to change, guys. It's starting to be burnt, it's dirty, nasty, it's gross. It smells like gas, so it's been working. Holy fucking hell, I'm lubricated. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let the oil settle out into that hose that we drained out of, and then at the end of the little project, pop it off. I'll get the remaining crap that's in there out of there. So let's go after the air filter. Get easy here. Air filter. All right. Stare at that for a minute. I got the package. What's in the box? What's in the box? Well, status. Old air filter, new air filter. All right. This is actually a lot cleaner, a little bit cleaner than it was because I already kind of knocked it out the other day. But I mean, look at it, it's all trashed, it's fucking beat up, dirty as hell. This thing fell off. Goodbye. These are very simple to put in and take out. Like, there's no tools involved. They're just presses in with a foam seal. Drop the cover back on. You can't do it wrong. You really can't. Air filter's done. Okay. I'm gonna go after the fuel filter next, but I'm smoking and gasoline is flammable, so I'm gonna just hold off on that because what I'll have to do is what it is like there's a line that goes from the fuel line to the engine. In the middle of it, there's this little weird looking filter thing. Looks like this. And once again, this stops like, you know, small particulates and like bits of junk that might get in your gas from getting sucked up into the engine itself. All right, so I'm after this thing right here. All right, this is another little operation where I hazard that it's nearly impossible to do this without getting the gas all over yourself. These things don't like to give up very easy. Come on. Pull. Come on. Here she comes. There shouldn't be much, if any, in that line, so. Sample collection bottle here. Get right there. The fact that makes it even easier is that my hands are totally coated in oil. So it makes grabbing hold of this shit real easy, you know. Come on, motherfucker. There we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so this goes here. You shove that back on. If you're some kind of manly man, you can actually get these things to go back on. All right, and then plug the other end back in. Okay, there's the fuel filter. Got it. Next up, the good fun time is going to be the oil filter. It's this thing. It's a black canister looking thing there. It looks like it's been crushed. So these are really only supposed to go on hand tight, but it looks like whoever did this one did it with a wrench. So I'm probably going to have to use a wrench to get it off. So this is an oil filter wrench. And what this does is it clamps around something round, and whichever way you decide you're going to turn it, it tightens up on it. So let's see if we'll get this guy to come off without a bunch of bullshit. See how it kind of, as I turned it, it clamped on it? All right, good, she's going to come off. All right, now oil is going to spill out of this too. So we're going to line their little work area with some paper. You ever seen paper? Oh, smell it. Paper. Okay, let's get this on deck here. This, like I said, some of you pros are sitting here watching this laughing like, he can't even do an oil change without getting this shit everywhere. Yeah, I fucking can't. I also remember asking you a goddamn thing. Yeah, some of it's just fucking leaking everywhere. Bitch. All right, here goes. Make a mess. Fuck it. This thing probably holds not a whole ton of oil, but yeah, making a fucking mess. Okay. Gross. Ugh, okay. Oh, gosh, I just love motor oil, guys, I tell you. How much this shit's pissing out of there. That's great. Just stuff that. Gotta pack the wound. She's bleeding, Captain. This is not enough paper towels. Alright, fuck it. Just let that sit. I'll clean it up. Alright, now that we're ready to put the new oil filter on, what we're going to want to do is put some oil in it. They want you to kind of fill it about 3/4 full. Just work that through, let it get in the elements and whatnot. What this stops it doing is getting like a dry spot in your engine. When you go to fire it up, it blows the oil into the filter and it's dry and causes you an issue. So you just keep shaking it, and the level's going down as it soaks into the element in there. The other thing I don't want to do is turn this thing on its side and spill the oil I just put in it all over the place. Getting there, getting there. Peak content, right, you guys? He's shaking an oil filter, and you're watching it, all right? Who's the dick here? Who's the asshole? Friendly reminder about profanity. I'm working on an engine. Of course I'm going to swear like a sailor. Got me. All right, it's going right on this big screw thing right there. So, let's get in there. Thread it on. Now they want just hand tight. I keep hearing just hand tight now. I get that. But my problem is that my hands that I'm supposed to be tightening with are completely lubricated. All right, now without crushing this filter, I'm going to put the wrench on it just to make sure it's tight. Our last video got cut off there because the camera got too hot. It is kind of hot out here, and like a genius, I decided to do this in the bright open sunlight so you guys could see what I'm doing. Me and the camera are both suffering for it, so I hope you appreciate what's going on here. So the part you missed was the oil filter, this thing right here. All I did is I put this wrench on it and just tightened it up just shy of like all the way. Didn't want to go too tight or you'll end up like crushing and or piercing this canister, and then of course the thing doesn't work. So Up to this point, we have a new fill filter, a new oil filter, a new air filter. I'm gonna go after the spark plugs next. There's two of them, one there, and one here. I'm gonna have to get a special socket for these though, so I'll be right back. Something to be said for double checking your kit before you leave the house. I had to run all the way home because I forgot my spark plug sockets. But at any rate, I got them. It's not actually a far drive, so I ain't that annoyed about it, but I kind of am. I should have checked my shit. All right, so now we're after the old spark plugs here, so the first thing I'll do is obviously get fucked with by the socket box. All right. Now once you break it, you should be able to just take the ratchet off and just spin it out. Got it. Okay, look at that. Back here, you think you're done. Some people are like, you gotta gap the spark plug. I really don't care about that, neither should you. It's not exactly a performance machine. It's a lawnmower, okay? Sometimes these little bastards don't want to thread. You gotta stay and keep trying. I got it, it's going in. And I'll just get it hand tight. I'll give it like whatever I can give it with the ratchet. Also just hand tight. You don't want to really crush these in there, because if you do that, you run the risk of it perhaps not wanting to come back out the next time you think you're going to change it. All right, so just until I can't turn it no more. That's it. That's one. All right, pop the plug off. Throw a ratchet in there. Got it. Okay. That's how mechanics cut their hands. Gap the spark plug. Shut up. Gap your spark plug. Friendly reminder, the guy doing mechanic work, I will speak fluent French. Premium content, you guys. This right here, is this thing like going in? What the fuck's going on here? There we go. Premium content, you guys. Changing spark plugs. Now just like hand tight till it stops turning. That's it. Put the plugs back on the spark plug till you hear a click. You heard it? Listen. Listen. Hear that? That's the click that we're looking for. Okay, now that I am done messing around with this whole area, spark plugs are in, wires are attached, fuel lines are back on, oil filters on, dipsticks in. Put this back where it belongs. Okay. Once I put like 2 quarts of oil plus a little bit in there, that's the tune-up of the machine, right? Let's make sure we didn't leave any parts behind. We did not. That's the spirit of that right there. Oil filter, fuel filter, air filter. Drain the oil. I will fill it with fresh, clean oil, and then we'll start it up and see if it blows up or not. We're talking about premium content here. This is me dumping oil into the machine. Let's see if I can spill it everywhere, right? Good job. See, I love spilling oil everywhere. This doesn't have like a fill port somewhere, so you got to dump it down the dipstick thing. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can. Okay. In case you know, never really understood exactly how to pour oil into something, now you know, so that's cool. Learn something every day, isn't that right? One. Oh, and of course, another disclaimer. I'm sure there's 100 of you in the comments right now. Nah, I do it. Nope, 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 nope. I pour oil better than you. Good thing, bro. Good thing. I'm fucking happy for you and congratulations. But until your punk ass shows up here to do this, I gotta do it. So that's what I'm doing, is changing the oil, and you're not. There it is, 2 quarts of oil in the engine. Now, you don't want to just fire it up right away. You kind of want to let that get to where it's got to go, down at the bottom of the old crankcase there, the oil pan. All right, it's probably been 15, 20 minutes, something like that. The oil should have now all drained into the bottom of the pan where it belongs, and I can check the level. So to do that correctly, pull the dipstick out. Sorry about that. You pull the dipstick out, you wipe it off. Okay, then you put it back on, but don't thread it. So see how it's like not all the way on? You just pull it out. This is how you properly check it. And that is right where we want it to be. I suppose my hands are shaking because I'm just so excited. Now, you saw how clear and nice looking that oil was compared to like, that's what was in it. So once again, I'm pretty sure we did no harm here. All right, so it's got oil levels where we want it to be. It's got new spark plugs, a new fuel filter, a new oil filter, and a new air filter. But the real question, does it run? We don't know yet. We're about to find out. All right, this is it, the moment of truth. Here goes. I'm gonna choke it. Anything leaking. It's going to take a minute for that new fuel filter to prime up. It might actually stall out, but I guess we'll find out. This machine tends to be a pretty good running machine. We'll see. By changing all these filters and doing all this stuff, it's not only is just good for the engine, but it's also going to make it run way more efficiently. It's going to use a little less gas. It's going to go a little further with what's in the tank. I can kind of hear it already that it's a little bit quieter, so she needed that. It had been a couple 100 hours since it'd been done, so I'm happy about it. Unless something blows up on me right now, I'm gonna call that job done, and I'll be moving on to do the blades next, and I'm gonna turn this thing into a mowing machine, bro.